That is why phages are being used today to be injected into our bodies. And you're probably wondering, why would we have to resolve to that? Well, to understand the why, let's teleport back to the past. Back then, they didn't have much of the modern medicine or equipment we have today, so they weren't fully equipped in dealing with, well, in layman's term, a bacterial invasion infecting us all ferociously. However, much like all the discoveries back then, our tiny heroic microbes in nature gave rise to a solution, accidentally. Long story short, after returning from a holiday, a disordered professor notices Penicillium notatum contaminated a culture of Staphylococcus bacteria he had accidentally left uncovered. This Penicillium notatum led to the development of antibiotics. Antibiotics were so effective that bacteria became less of a threat to our health. And so naturally, we treated antibiotics as the medicine for everything, which led people to using it more and more for less serious problems. With that, we underestimated bacterial capabilities. Its ability to perform horizontal gene transfer, which is basically passing one or more genes to another species, contrasting the traditional parent-to-offspring route. In relation to antibiotics, once a gene for antibiotic resistance evolves in one species of bacteria, it can quickly pass a gene containing the resistance to other bacteria, from either actively attaching to other types of bacteria or picking up genes that leaked out of a lysed bacterium. This has and will continue on until we evolved a highly resistant bacteria, also coined as superbugs. According to the expert panel on potential social and economic impacts of antimicrobial resistance in Canada, from 2020 to 2050, if the growing number of superbugs stayed at today's rate of 26%, a total of 256,000 lives could be lost due to antimicrobial resistance. By 2050, if it were to increase to 40%, 362,000 lives could be claimed by these not-so-superbugs. This catastrophic event could cost us Canadians $120 billion in hospital expenses and possibly reduce Canada's annual gross domestic product by $268 billion. After learning from this COVID-19 pandemic, it will not just impact us economically, but also our way of life. Discrimination may be targeted towards those with resistant infections or deemed to be at risk of infection. For instance, after this pandemic, people could become less open and trusting, by people less likely to travel and more supportive of closing each other's borders to migration and tourists.